Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott here on a beautiful, a beautiful Monday afternoon, Monday evening. Blessings to all of you who are tuning in. I'm pretty sure it's Monday. I'm dressed down today, kind of casual, but I am flowing with what life is bringing. And today, brothers and sisters, I am feeling inspired once again. Let me start off properly with a little dignity and respect. Sincerely, thank you. Thank you to all of you who are already stopping in, sharing some encouragement, some light. You guys are amazing, sincerely. And some of you, especially, I'll highlight Cynthia on this one. Some of you have taken my frustration and my anger graciously. You guys have been a really amazing part of this adventure. All of you guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, all those who identify as people and who join, praise be, sincerely. Thank you. Thank you for your time, your energy, your attention. Because that's why I'm here, sincerely. It's been said by other streamers, you do have to have a little bit of an ego, obviously, to be putting yourself out here. There's certainly got to be something driving you. So today, what's driving me is the topic, right? All of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them, right? All of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. And I love this. This is amazing. And this could be a forecast of the future. Now, admittedly, I haven't taken the steps needed to register or, put any formations together, but I love this idea of Jack Talcott representing the Talcott Foundation for World Peace at and with the World Economic Forum. Let's face it, they got the purse strings, so wouldn't it be great to get those guys and gals on our side with the purpose of peace? So with the quote from the thumbnail, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them, that inspired the topic for today. Finding the courage to dream. Finding the courage to dream. But Rebecca Joe, I'm not going to disagree with you, because that's kind of where I'm at too. I do today, and I'm so grateful for today, but I do dream big. And I want to encourage, right? This is the topic, finding the courage to dream. Because what I realized, right, as I'm thinking these thoughts through, what does it take for our dreams to come true? How do we get the courage to pursue them? The key, it really is with greater self-worth. With greater self-worth, the courage to dream, the courage to take actions towards greater achievements, that grows as well with your self-worth. With growing your self-worth, you grow in your dreams, what you believe you can accomplish. And then you're more willing to take steps. You're willing to take actions when you have a greater self-worth. So the path to a greater life, it starts with the one in the mirror. Holy cows, holy cows. That is my path. That was my path. That's where it started. The path to a greater life started with me, with the one in the mirror. And then as I started my path of spiritual development and started to grow more conscious, more enlightened, what I realized is you. When I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to the man in the mirror as well. I love you, whoever you are. Along those lines, here, let me do that. Let me drop the link too, with a high note. For those who are present, wish to join, you are welcome. Please feel free, click the link, and join the conversation today. Though the topic I want to really be about is, how do we individually, collectively, how do we find the courage to dream? Not just dream, but how do we find the courage and the commitment to, well, to commit, to take actions towards that dream? That's what I want to talk about today. More human than a human. People are so amazing. Life is but a dream. This is the conclusion I arrived at for myself. I believe in dreams. I truly believe in dreams. I know that people's dreams can come true, that miracles happen. This experience we're living in, brothers and sisters, there is a divinity. There is a perfection, a magic to life. It's hidden behind the material, perhaps, behind the form and the function. Or maybe that's where the magic is in the function. I don't know. Life is incredible. That's what I realized. But here, I'm wearing advertising the dream I have. The dream I have is a world of peace. That is my dream. And what I've learned in my path is the first casualty of war is the truth. The rest are mostly civilians. I know there's images I could pull up to show the what is happening with a lot of civilians in the world today. But I'm sure you know. Our world today has become numb. Comfortably numb. Holy cows, man. See, we've had so many artists speaking the truth and telling us what is going on. Pink Floyd's words are coming up there, man, in the past. Brothers and sisters, life is being done wrong Can we admit to that? I mean, if we can find agreements, as we find agreements, we unite, we come together, we establish connections and common ground. I got a lot of, so my notes are kind of outside of the topic, but it all comes together. Some of the things I was considering earlier, um, regarding life and the courage to dream. And my dream is I am taking actions in my dream. I mean, it's not exactly the way that I wanted to be doing this, but this is my dream. My dream is to share inspirations and encouragement to help other people grow. And I know it's happening. There's a lot of naysayers and there's a lot of resistance. And I am growing in my ability. I recognize that. So my dream of a greater world, it started with the courage, finding my own courage, my belief that life could be better. And frankly, I had a pretty damn good life, you know, secure job, a beautiful home, great safe neighborhood, wonderful community. Um, I was able to find fulfillment not only with my primary job, but then with participating in my union. I found greater fulfillment and I had a great life. And then, and then I realized, I realized that my fears had held me back from a greater life. And then I started wondering, what could a greater life be? I didn't start wondering what a greater life could be until I found peace, at least just a moment, momentary moments and momentary times of peace in my heart. When I was able to find peace in my heart and gratitude for who I was and what I'd been doing, you know, because I've made a lot of sacrifices and I've made a lot of choices in the purpose of service. So I had reasons to be proud of myself. When I finally accepted those things, that hey, Jack, you've done all right, you know. I guess I I guess I offered myself a little mercy because I found some worthiness inside of me beyond the approval or the results from the exterior world. I found worthiness within myself. And with that, I'm telling you, the self worth, the self worth and self confidence, the love you can find for yourself, that is the key. When you love yourself more, when you have self worth, um, you're more willing to take steps, to take actions. You're more willing to you're more willing to offer and share yourself. Why did I get off on this? I know I started bringing up the courage. Oh, so when I found some worthiness within myself, and I thought, you know, I can do a little bit more. And then if I can do a little more, what if others can do more, right? And what if that's my role? What if I go around and I help others become greater or think bigger? And so I help those who are helping others. That's really my goal. I really want to serve, but I really want to make an impact and a value. And every day, right, we do what we can. In my dreams of helping to create a better world, sharing explanations, some of the things I'm learning, um, some of the things I've been thinking about is how do I have peace in my heart? right? Hey, the appearance, I have been getting feedback on my appearance, and you know, stay tuned, brothers and sisters. You never know what's going to happen in this Talcottian adventure. You never know. And I know this is a costume. It can change the hair, the beard, the weight, the physique. It can all change. So I'm not so worried about the appearance, but I understand it is part of the package. And I do intend to grow and to improve. Cave Jack. That is one of the reasons I'm evaluating that. Yeah, I don't want to look like a cave dweller, honestly. Yeah, it's so easy. Even a cave Jack can do it, right? Um, oh my goodness. I think the seven heads, 10 horns, I've heard that presented in a few different ways. Something to do with I think something to do with NATO and um, whatever. Where we are living, brothers and sisters, this time of experience, this time of history here on Earth for the human species, right? What you and I are, what we are, it's amazing. There is so much chaos. If you look at the news, you look at what is happening, there is chaos. There's a lot of unrest and opposition, a lot of disturbance, violently and psychologically, emotionally. There's a lot of conflict. So, one of the things I was reviewing earlier today, someone else's lecture, was how symbolism, signs and symbols, the interpretations of the symbols, that is where the real power and meaning is, at least within us. So, the symbolism of chaos, what does chaos represent? Chaos represents movement, movement and change. So, movement represents, could be said to represent energy, and energy could be said to represent power. Powers can be transformed, transmuted. So power represents potential. Chaos is potential. There is good to be found within all moments, all things. There is good to be found. The key, brothers and sisters, the key to finding the good is getting clarity. It's real easy to spot the red flags, to spot the danger signals, to spot the problems and the disagreements. But if you look beyond, if you look beyond the divisive nature that's built within us, if you look beyond that, you can see the greater picture, how the one moment, the one thing might actually be part of something bigger, something more. That one thing at one time is you. That's part of something more. That's you and me, man. We're just this tiny little speck of insignificance in the scope of eternity. And we're like just a blip, just an expression of light and life here on this little earth in the vastness of the stars. And or if you believe it's just a snow globe and we're like just in here fighting amongst ourselves, whatever you envision the world to be, the chaos is ours to overcome. I think that's pretty simple. I was inspired by um, another video today. Actually, I think I might share it. Actually, if anything, this is just to promote. Um, my road leads home is the channel name. Um, there's a quote in this that stood out for me. How we see people is the beginning of how we treat people. How we see people is the beginning of how we treat people. So I've met the man who created this. In my opinion, he is a local hero of the community, um, really working towards helping the homeless in our community. And I know his heart is amazing. So just a short little video with a message. So here we go.
It first appeared in early 2013. It was a bronze sculpture on the campus of Regis College, University of Toronto, Canada. The sculpture depicts a homeless person covered with a blanket and sleeping on a bench. At first glance, it could be any park bench in any town in America, including Spokane, and the cloaked figure could be any homeless person seeking warmth and rest beneath the blanket. Any homeless person. That is, until your eye is drawn to the only exposed part of the body, the feet. They're pierced. Known as Jesus the Homeless by Canadian sculptor Timothy Schmaltz, the sculpture depicts Jesus as a homeless person sleeping on a park bench. Originally intended as an interpretation of Matthew 25:31-46, the sculpture wasn't universally well received. When a cast of Jesus the Homeless was installed outside St. Albans Episcopal Church in Davidson, North Carolina in 2013, some local residents felt it was an insulting depiction of Jesus that demeaned the neighborhood. One local resident actually called the police when she saw it for the first time, mistaking the sculpture for a real homeless person. That's right, she called the cops on Jesus. You just can't make this stuff up. There's an enduring metaphor here about our attitudes and responses toward the homeless, and what happens when uncomfortable truth confronts our misconceptions, when homeless Jesus confronts middle-class America. And if our response is, yes, but Jesus isn't homeless or in need, then we've missed the whole point of Matthew 25:31-46. You and I won't fully appreciate the message of Jesus the homeless until we begin to see his face in the faces of unlikely people, including homeless campers caught up in a law enforcement sweep of homeless camps with their possessions being tossed into a city garbage truck. In the process, the garbage truck ran over the hand of one of the campers who had to be taken to the hospital. If the role of the church is to speak truth to power, and if you had been present on this Friday in February, how would you have spoken truth to power? And where would you have seen the face of Jesus? In the face of law enforcement or in the face of homeless campers? How we see people is the beginning of how we treat people. Gazing into these faces is an appropriate moment to ask ourselves, would I treat Jesus this way? Answer that question correctly, and 3 lives will be changed. Yours, theirs, and the life of our community.
How we see people is the beginning of how we treat people. And the police sweeps that he was talking about and that they were showing there. I learned about those I think it was in the winter 2019 to 2020. I discovered the taxpayers of our community were paying the police and sanitation crew to throw away the tents and sleeping bags and the survival gear of some of the people who happen to be homeless in our community. And that got me fired up. So I've been on a path ever since trying to understand why. Why is humanity so divided? Why is humanity so confused? I mean, literally, we're fighting each other instead of helping the situations. And it's happening on many, many, many different levels. And so I used to get real upset about that, and I still get frustrated. I still don't enjoy seeing the conflicts and the disagreements and the just foolishness of the world. But I focus on living me, living how I believe God may want me to be. The message of that video, right? Whether you believe in Christ or not, you certainly can believe or picture goodness. You can believe in goodness. And whether you're religious or not, the story of Jesus was the example of goodness. I don't know how you could deny that. Now, the idea, though, is that there is a goodness in everyone. There's a goodness in the police who are out there, you know, keeping safety while the sanitation crew does their job cleaning up. There's a Christ within each of them, the obedient employees. Then there's a Christ within the one who's out on the street, whose path happens to be where they are, dealing with the rejection or the addiction or the patterns that they've faced. We're all here on our own paths. There's no denying that. I mean, that's the whole purpose of life, is for each to grow and to become. So we're each on our own paths in life. And you certainly can't force someone to change. You can't force someone to do. You can't force one to be different than they are. And what we've got today is a world where a lot of people, they don't know who they are. Many of them, I would say, probably don't really know where they are or what they're doing, right? Because, well, brainwashing and manipulation have been very profitable, right? The first casualty of war is truth. The rest are mostly civilians. Even in the time of Jesus, the truth wasn't widely and freely shared. It maybe, it wasn't understood. It was understood in different ways and in different groups. But humanity has been at war since recorded time, right? And so the symbolism is so obvious and clear, right? The stories of the Bible and Lucifer, that was another. I mean, I was watching that lecture on symbolism, and it was related to the Leviathan, the beast, and then going from there, that mindset into Satan, the devil, Lucifer, the fallen ones. It's all tied together. The patterns of Lucifer, right? As it said, the angel, the most beautiful, bright angel, got in his head, got some visions of grandeur, wanted to take the place of the Almighty, of the Creator, wanted to replace the authority of God with its own. So allegedly, the battles ensue, and battle's not acceptable in heaven, so it's excommunicated, sent to the world, and here we are. Who do we want to serve? Do we want to serve the God the angels sing about? Do we want to serve the Lord of lies, deception? Do we want to serve the evil ways of the world, or do we wish to serve the true light and love of God? Please choose the truth. God's truth. God's truth is more important than anyone else's opinion, right? Whatever is true, objectively true, that is what I'm promoting. I'm literally promoting that people pay attention to reality. But holy shit, this is my role. I'm pretty confident. If I'm right about the path I'm living, that if this is the purpose, if I have surmised or discerned the path that God may have set out for me, this is part of the role. My role is, as I believe, to be a messenger for the truth of God's love, right? Share the message of live without fear, following the way of Jesus, the way of Christ. And so I've realized what America is lacking, what the world masses, the world leadership. Let me point fingers where I believe, you know what? I try not to blame, but Jack does believe in holding leadership accountable. Leadership. So that's where I point the finger. But really, the leadership, the corruption of today in our governments and our corporations, we've all got a piece in this. Every one of us do. If we had stopped consenting, decided to change this stuff a long time ago, we would have, but we didn't. So here we are. Here's the point. If this is true and my purpose is, well, my chosen purpose is to try and share the truth of God's love with the world. That is my chosen purpose. Doesn't mean it's God's purpose for me, though, and I recognize that. But if that's the truth, then what I'm here to do is help have like a come to Jesus moment with the leadership, right? The people responsible. And when I say come to Jesus moment, I'm talking about, hey, we're going to come to terms with what is true. Because I still, admittedly, I still don't know where the evidence landed on the, you know what, I don't want to get into that. I trust in the perfection of God, the truth of Christ, and I trust in the perfection of love. And so if this is true, then this is going to be my role, is to help wake people up to today, to reality. Because the only thing that matters is what is real. What is real is only known, right? You can only know or feel or do anything right now. And right now is very fleeting. It's constantly changing and transmuting. The now is always here, and yet, are we? I mean, that gets into the greater philosophical questions of just because we think, so what? Does that mean that we are? Or it really just means we think we are. But in the end, we are. I trust we are as real as this reality. But If this reality is real, brothers and sisters, there's something we can do. I feel a sense of urgency going through another election cycle with this stupid game where, oh, we can't find anyone better than Trump or Biden, man. Those are the choices you got to choose from. No, 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 no. Brothers and sisters, today, right? Today, March 11th, 2024, approximately 15:30 in the afternoon on the Pacific coast here. It's 6:30 Eastern time, 3:30 Pacific. This is our lifetime, brothers and sisters. We have the opportunity. We have the opportunity to do what we want. I truly believe, within limits, of course. But those limits, many of our limits are mental. We've got to stop letting the mental limits hold us back. It's time. It is time, brothers and sisters. I believe it is time for all of us. Topic of the stream: to find the courage. Find the courage to dream of a better world, a better life for you, for those who may experience life with you. Dream of a better world, and then please, not please, I encourage you, do what you want. But I'm telling you, this is what helps keep me going. Doing this process, going within and asking myself, what can I do? What can I do from here, from today, to move me forward to these dreams that I feel? And the dream I feel, brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you to find your own version, but please find this dream, then feel the dream, to know within you that a future of prosperity and peace and abundance and joy, it is here and now. It's waiting to be discovered. A life filled with peace, prosperity, and joy is here right now, waiting to be discovered by you, by me. And then we can help everyone else find and discover this too. And it all starts with the one in the mirror. It all starts by looking within. What did I do? That's what I wanted to do. With greater self-worth, the courage to dream and take actions towards greater achievements grows as well. So how do you grow in your self-worth? What do you value? This is a big thing too. The world feeds and profits from our division, our confusion, our consumption. And I've pictured humanity kind of like, we are kind of like rodents. A lot of similar behaviors to rodents that I see in human beings. and, and what it seems is when we're in states of fear, we like overconsume and we hoard, and then we're mating and reproducing just frantically. Humanity we are beasts, we are animals, we're just out of nature. The way that, and there's people who know this stuff, right? Remember, people have been studying people since long before you and I were born. You and I didn't have access to a lot of the studies that a lot of the other people have been knowing. And when I'm talking about the studies, I'm talking about the advertisement, the propaganda, the manipulation. We were born into a world, and brothers and sisters here, for those of you who are in the same geographical area as me, North America, type thing, whether it's the US, Canada. These are the parts I know more familiar. It's where I spent most of my life. The world we were born into is, I was born in the 70s, early 70s. 73 is the year I was born. So it was after the Kennedy and Dr. King. It was, early in that stuff. I don't have memories of those times, but I do remember the 80s very well. The 90s. The 90s, I was drunk for a good part of that one. 2000s, I was drunk for a good part of those too. But I remember that, and I've been seeing documentaries, people putting the pieces together so that it's easier to learn. The progression of propaganda, the way that the media has been used to manipulate the choices of our parents, our grandparents, you and I, our children. There have been intentional plans and very profitable actions taken to program us with beliefs that are not healthy. There is no reason. I have been reviewing this idea. I've been talking about it since I started my stream and before. A world without secrets. If we want civilians to stop dying, we stop allowing and funding wars between our nations. And that is easier to end when lies, corporations and the lies of the banking system, when those lies and secrets are no longer protected, where humanity is no longer so divided, when we're no longer competing against everyone else in the world, and ourselves, where we're actually working together, when we're working with the one in the mirror, the man or the woman in the mirror, we are working with that being. Why? Because we care. We care about the one in the mirror because, well, we've been growing our value. We've been growing our self-worth. We've been making sacrifices from ourselves throughout the past, and we've invested time and effort and energy in learning different things and growing different things. And as I'm saying this, I'm assuming I'm telling your story as well, to varying degrees. We've all been growing in ourselves for a purpose, a greater purpose. And the purpose we've been growing in ourselves, it is not just to meet the obligations of debt. It's not just to, collect toys and properties while we're here on Earth. No, we are here to change the world sincerely. At least that's why I'm here. So it's a pleasure to meet you, whoever you are. Thank you for joining this Talcottian adventure. My purpose, and you're invited to join or not, to support or detract, or every one of us gets to play a part in this role in our time of history. In the past, I used to spend a lot of time finding excuses not to grow, not to take chances, not to become greater. I found excuses to stay with what I knew. I was afraid to change. Are you? If you can find the courage to dream, right? And dream means you're going to change. Change means growth. So we've created a world where where fear has been very profitable. Fear has been spread widely and shared often. Fear is shared and invited by those who have insecurities. So people have insecurities. Why? Well, typically a lot of unhealed trauma, but primarily it comes down to excuses. Excuses and blame actually brings our insecurities. And see, the insecurities are just an example of low self-worth. So it's our limited thinking in our self-worth and what we believe of the world. Our limited beliefs keep the world trapped. And I'm encouraging you, whoever you are, pray. Actually, I hope I'm speaking to words that already know. Yeah, I remember going through that, Jack. I remember my trapped feelings. I remember the freedom too. So, but if you've not escaped the looping mind, the looping comfort zone, or the prison that you've become accustomed to, if you haven't escaped that yet, I want you to please find the courage to dream, to believe that you can. I'd never realized how much of a problem my mind had become until I started addressing it. This can happen in many different ways. We don't actually recognize how big a problem has become until we stop and we give it time and attention to understand it. Some things may not seem to be a problem in our life, and yet it's the weight that keeps dragging us down. For me, it was my mind. And my mind, it turned out, was filled with a ton of insecurities and fears that I didn't know that were there. And along with those insecurities and fears, there was a lot of anger. The anger, that's been my greatest problem throughout most of my life. I think anger is probably a problem many of us might share. Why? I know that the men I was raised around did not understand how to deal with anger in healthy ways. I can honestly say the women I was raised around did not know how to deal with anger in healthy ways. So I'm not blaming, but I am saying in my earlier development, I lacked role models. I lacked the opportunity to see and, even someone to take the compassion and the time to say, hey, these feelings come up, you just find these steps, you work through them. The things we don't understand, if they're in our life and we don't understand what is in our life, they can really throw us around. My emotions were a thing I didn't understand. I wasn't raised with a family that talked about their emotions. The emotions were just either seen or dealt with. That was the idea. I learned how to grow beyond that. It took me intentional intention and time and devotion to pay attention, to really want to change. Until I realized that I could change, I didn't even think of it because my mind was too busy looping in the things of the past. So I remember trying to understand meditation, and on my own, I didn't really look too hard. Now that I think, I did go to a couple of like some meditation groups and such, but I didn't understand it, and I really couldn't grasp the silence. It wasn't until I had more more intentional practice and learning from different explanations, different people explaining things, those really helped me on my path. But the point is when I first started practicing meditation, monkey mind, that chattering mind that just doesn't stop, it always has an opinion, it's always got a problem, that monkey mind can be overcome. So, hey, and with that, we have our first guest. Welcome, Jesse. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I am feeling blessed. Feeling blessed. Pursuing my dreams. That is what I'm doing today.
Well, that sounds really good. I'm just about to roll a bunch of joints. Pursuing my weed dreams. How's your stream going?
I felt it was going pretty good. Staying on topic, and I think staying on topic. Well, I don't know. I varied a little bit. Honestly, it's up to the viewers to determine.
Your topic is your dreams?
Well, the topic is finding the courage to dream. Finding the courage, and this is where I was talking about earlier, building and growing in self-worth, growing in the intention to grow, and with the intention to grow through actions and deeds, we can grow in our opinion of ourselves, but we've got to be honest. And so as we grow in self-worth, then we can also grow in what we think we can achieve. It's our limited thinking in our self-worth that creates our limited thinking externally. So, Robert Pauley, some of my dreams, I have many, but they sum down to one. I dream of peace. Peace for the entire world, but admittedly for me, my prayer earlier today and again is that, well, there's many ways to say it. My dream is, what's that?
Oh, go ahead. Say your dream.
My dream is a world of peace where humanity actually cares about one another, where we pay attention to, well, to the opportunities that life brings. I see a lot of people in a lot of different ways, seemingly without a clear purpose. Maybe, no, that's inaccurate. Some lack clear purpose, some lack plans. I see a lot of people floating through life, living a routine as though time is endless. I'm suggesting life is short, that each day is an opportunity for us to unite, to try and help each other overcome whatever's being faced. And then we work together to grow from there. I know we have opportunities to change the world entirely, right here and now.
What do you think stops people from dreaming the dreams?
They have confused minds. And this gets into the spiritual aspect and psychological, because the confusion comes from a number of different things. Truly, it comes from a lack of desire to know. People will settle for confusion, settle for comfort zones, settle for routines. And since they've settled, by changing, it would mean they have to admit they were wrong. People are afraid to admit they were wrong. So it's fears and it's routines and excuses that keep people from dreaming, from becoming, well, some of it too is lack of education, lack of opportunity. There could be a lot of reasons involved, but it comes down to individual desire. That's what I've realized. What do you think keeps us from uniting and ending the wars and slavery?
I think fear. I think you got it right. Live without fear. They want everybody to be afraid, afraid to dream, afraid to unite, afraid to speak out, afraid to be a whistleblower, afraid of the unknown. I think it's that, and then the spell. You know, there's just a spell that's being put under people's eyes. You talk about people with people and say that, you know, we can come together, we can fix this place. That'll never happen. Well, that'll never happen when people have, if enough people have that attitude that it'll never happen, right? And as soon as people start to have, you know, faith that, you know, things can get better, that we can fix this place, and that's where their hearts are, then the things will be much different, and we can actually come together then.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take to get people to come together, to unite. I still have hopes and faith. It's happening. You know what? What am I saying? It is happening. We got another guest here. Welcome, brother. Welcome, Paul. Whenever you're there. Blessings. Where were we at? Oh, what does prevent us from uniting? That is a that is a mysterious question. To be honest, I believe, I don't know if it's God's plan or if it is our individual choices. I have to assume that in the end, only God's plan, only God's will is revealed to us, because what is real is, well, hey, here, we're circling this conversation again, finding the courage to dream. My hope is to bring a wake-up call, come to Jesus moment for people in the world so they wake up to reality. This reality we are living, is not, it's not as bad as it seems for many of us. Now, for others, the reality is, it's probably hell. But for many other people, people trapped in their memories and, you know, finding reasons to hurt or to be afraid of today from things from the past, that's just confusion. So the point is, especially in this Western world, people have gotten so self-centered. That's where I was going earlier with the propaganda, the way media has influenced everyone, especially with the 80s, the Reaganomics and the wealth. Hey, Paul, are you back? I'm not sure. Well, I remember the 80s glorifying greed, and I mean, that seemed to be the mindset. It was through the propaganda, through media, programming greed, promoting selfishness. You know, I remember the big news too of these hostile takeovers, all this economic battles, economic espionage being conducted. Guess what? That affects the real lives of those workers. And that's one of the things that I truly do care about. I care deeply for the labor, for the working class, for the folks who keep the service industries moving. I mean, that seems to be where America has been changing. I care about working class in all crafts, all trades. Care about those who share labor. And I don't like seeing the economic disparity, the true oppression. It is evil. There is evil throughout this world. And brothers and sisters, if we had faith, it's a lack of faith that keeps us divided. It's a lack of faith that keeps us confused. Praise God. Holy cows. God is so amazing. So incredible. The way our minds and emotions are working, because I'm thinking this through and I know this is true. I know there's patterns to this that would support this as truth. That our lack of faith, it's just clear, it makes sense. Our lack of faith would cause our mind to be unrestful, agitated, confused. Faith is the path to knowing. And our God is that spirit that is, praise be. Were you hopping in, Jesse? Oh, okay. Back
No,
to the
I just sat down. I had to deal with my dog.
perfect. Okay. So back to the dream. The dream I have is a world a world without borders. I envision a world of the future where the truth and love are honored, cherished, protected, where the truth and love are shared generously and freely, and where we live in a world that is united, where humanity actually walks the walk, cares about each other. The way of Jesus. It's what he said. It's time. The only thing that's stopping this, well, praise God. I can't claim to know the only thing, right? Because God determines the results of all things. Jesse, do you have an opinion on that? I had a discussion earlier. I made this statement: God controls the results. I was told no, we're responsible for the results. People, where do you think?
If you're living, with you're aligned with your Christed heart, and that you're aligned with, this God energy, then it is God's will. So the free will versus God's will. So if people are following their heart, and actually, doing God's work here on earth, then that is, God working through each and every single one of us.
Yes. But the idea of results. I said this before that I said this before, that we each get to choose the results we seek. We get to choose what we want, what we don't want. We get to choose the results we seek. God controls the results we receive. And God is that which is outside of us. That's how I view it. That's how I view my relationship with God. It is in my mind, I'm confident that only God is real. We are just perceptions of experience that are being formed and shown in this moment of here and now. So if that's true for me, that only God is real, well, then that means it is me and God. And so I know I only control me, and God is what reveals the result from all others. Welcome, Smith.
What's up?
How are you, brother?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Good. Did you bring uh, some conversation for me, for the
I
panel?
did. I just heard you say something about having open borders, and I'm staunchly against that.
Yeah, I believe that. Many people, many people think like you. Similarly, Christian and want borders and want enforcement, but see, I'm of the belief that well, if the truth reigns supreme, the borders that we have that people have died to protect, um, those borders are imagined lines, right? They're imagined lines in the sand drawn by someone else besides me. So those imagined lines in the sand, to me, don't really increase or decrease the value of a human being. And
No, just my point is they put a huge burden on the tax system, and people have heard that Social Security won't be there when when a lot of us are old enough to collect it. This is putting a huge burden on the tax system. It's not sustainable.
Right. So the tax system is criminal. So rather than we complain about the border, let's address the tax system.
But that's not going to change. But something that could change is we could reclose the border, respectfully, Jack.
Why do you think? Why do you? Never mind.
I mean,
Thank
didn't we
you.
close the whole world down for 3 years, and then everybody had to get
Yes.
tested, and
Hey,
people lost.
Smith.
Excuse me.
Yep.
People lost their jobs. I'm not saying anything I shouldn't.
Okay.
And now we're just letting anybody in and not checking them at all, and
Smith.
just giving them
Nope.
free cards and 5
No
star.
one's making that argument. No one's making that argument here. I wish you stayed on topic with what I was offering.
That was why I clicked the link. I'm on topic with that.
No, what I was
You're
trying
saying borders
to
are imagined. I'm on topic.
right, and I bring up, let's address the tax issue.
Not going to happen. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's not going to change in this short amount of time that we have before our country's destroyed.
I'm not asking for it to change.
Undocumented.
I'm asking for you to shut up and we can discuss it, Smith. I'm trying to actually have a conversation with you.
Then have a conversation like a fucking man, Jack. Have a fucking conversation, bro.
I'm trying.
Bitch ass backstage of me life coach shit. Let's have a conversation. You're pushing a stupid narrative. We need to close the border.
Smith. Okay, you want to insult me for interrupting you, but your behavior is not acceptable here, Smith. I have no faith. I have such little faith in you, Smith. I'm not even going to bring you up because I don't think you're willing to change today. All you have been fixed on is being right. Go be right somewhere else, Smith. Go believe that the problem is the people at the border, not the criminal enterprise that is the government.
Jack, I think that maybe there may be just kind of a disconnect there in like where you guys were thinking about that, because you're talking about these closed, these borders really are defining us, separating us, and all this kind of stuff. And I think where Smith is at is right now at the border, they're pumping in military aged men, and they're, looking as a Trojan horse, and there's like things that are going on that he's concerned about. I don't think he's like looking at it the same overall picture. He's just looking at the immediate danger of having the open border and how that's dangerous to America right now. So I think that's what I was seeing as just kind of a little bit of a disconnect in thought there.
Well, did you understand? So do you have anything to say on what I said, what I've been saying? Because that's really what I've been hoping to talk about, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, ultimately the people that are bringing those people in and doing what they're doing, they're actually the problem. The one that are charging the taxes, charging the interest shouldn't even be allowed. These are some of the things that are happening that are putting, countries further into debt on illegal activity that isn't even supposed to be allowed.
And so how do you think we do that? How do you think we get control of it?
Well, I think,
Because I told
when
Becky, I said, no, but send me pictures of it. And they haven't sent me any pictures. And I texted them, and they haven't answered back. So maybe they didn't.
I'm going to assume that was an accident from Moose. What were you saying, Jesse?
one way is to fight is this, debts being this interest on loans. I think that that's something that people can get behind, because there's a lot of Christians or so-called Christians in the United States that would be alignment with this no usury, how this debt has got out of control, government spending debt that, even the money that's being pulled in doesn't even pay any part of what the debt, it just keeps getting further and further more into debt while the government spending is out of control. So I think that that might be an area where people can unite.
That's what I've been suggesting. The problem is in the systems. So when are we going to unite? What do you think? Are we ever going to unite to face the corruption, or are we just going to keep reporting on it and talking about it?
Well, I think it's happening every day. More and more people are talking about it. More and more people are figuring. I know there's a whole bunch of underground movements that are happening. So there's a lot more that's happening than what people know about, and especially what's being reported about.
Yeah. See, I see the border as a distraction, just like Lyndon Johnson was allegedly said, and I may be misquoting, but it's along the lines of, you convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you picking his pockets. Hell, give that man someone to look down upon, to fear, they'll empty their pockets for you. We are living in this is Satan's realm. So far, Satan is in control because excuses and blame keep corrupt politicians and corrupt executives in positions of power. So I really do think it's up to us. And this is where this finding the courage to dream. It's real easy. Anyone can come up with excuses. Anyone can find reasons not to try. That is so easy. But I didn't realize how many people I'd be facing who wanted to spend their time finding excuses and reasons why I was wrong. Because really, if I'm right, if we do actually work together, find a way to end this slavery and the nonsense of wars, if we do actually find a way to do that, well, that would help everybody. So I really don't know why I've received so much time and attention from people who want to oppose me. Welcome back, Smith. Not necessarily oppose, but certainly distract and not help. So welcome back.
I agree with the comment in the chat to start locally. I think I told you that when I first came on here. Yeah, no, I'm not opposed to your message.
No.
I think it's a good message.
Thank you.
So you're going to city council tonight?
I looked at it.
I made the front page of the paper in the March. I was right there, the big old sign. It was dope.
What was the sign?
It said, Cube trust the plan, the Quran. And I can't believe they put it front page. It was dope. It was about 2 years ago.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know about the town in Michigan that fired its council, its old government?
I heard about that.
So they were going to build a Chinese energy plant right next, right in their community, and all the community residents said no, and the council, their city council, decided they were going to go ahead anyway. So they went and held an emergency election. They fired everybody. They re-elected someone into that position. The sheriff went and put locks on the doors, and they kicked the whole city council out. And I think that that's a wonderful example on how local that people have the power, and they're just afraid to exercise it.
Yes, they've made it a fear of people. Just their fear is to not conform, and people need to not be afraid to stand out, to be different than other people. And it does start at the local level. And I told you when I first came here, I'm not saying I'm the smartest man, but that's where it starts, is locally. We're not going to change the entire nation, the tax code, respectfully, right here, right now. But what we do is we start locally. Am I looking to start a militia? I'm not answering that. But what I'm saying is we got to band together at a local level.
Are you doing that?
I haven't had a whole lot of opportunities for that because I work a lot.
No. So no.
But I definitely was. I never wore a mask the entire time, and I harassed every motherfucker I saw, whether they're 6'6", 250 or smaller than me. I don't fucking care. As long as they weren't an 80-year-old lady, you're getting it from me because you're an idiot for buying into it. And that's what started all this. So I'm not, I don't know, you're shaking your head. I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm just saying we've been had. We've been had as a nation, and they just push us to further division. If you're this or you're that, and I'm this and you're that, and people need to realize it's us against our tyrannical government.
And so the question, though, that you didn't, that you answered, but you deflected from was, no, you're not connecting with others to do what you were saying. So I agree with you on the idea, and it is time. A lot of people say a lot of things, though, and this is kind of where I was getting at earlier. People act like this life is forever. Like, it doesn't matter. I'll get to this eventually, but, this is our life to live. And I've lived a lot of life making excuses and going along to get along, so to say. I've got somewhere in the back that I'm not certain about. You able to show a face back there? Welcome,
Hey,
Brian.
It's Brian Stavely. Yeah, the Mandela effect is real. I just came out of the closet. I'm gay. I'm in love with Nathan Sanders. And you're all gay too, especially you, Jack. Just come out already, motherfuckers. You're gay, you sleep with other men, and that's okay. Mandela effects is real. Peace.
My apologies for that. I could have cut that off sooner. I was curious to see where it was going. Hey, that is my suspicion as well. Credit to him. He had a Brian Stavely image and name in the back, but it was not Brian Stavely in the verification process. So I'm learning.
Yeah, we're interviewing Brian later on this month about 9/11. He's going to go deep and hard on, 9/11. Last time, a couple years ago when he was on the show, he talked about the Mandela effect, but now he's going to go in on 9/11.
Jesse, maybe when you have him, can you ask him why he thinks they're happening? He booted me. I got blocked, and I asked respectfully in his chat, I get all these Mandela effects. Why? Why is the Bible most well-known, best-sold book of all time? Why does it have the most Mandela effects? Because they're hiding the word of God. He can't equate 2 and 2, or just refuses to. He's just like, yeah, look at him. I'm like, yeah, great. Why do you think it's happening? They want to hide the word of God. They want people hopeless. There is hope.
Yeah. Well, there's many examples. Does it matter? I mean, how can we stop war when we can't stop our own Air Force from spraying us?
Exactly. Spokane has one of the highest rates of MS in the world. What do we live right next to?
Right. So what are we going to do about it? Oh, that's right. You've got to work. You got a job. You got to work all
Oh,
those.
that's right. You stream and sit home all day.
Time.
Actually, I talk shit to the troops every time I see them, you fucking gaslighter. You gonna boot me again?
You don't have time to unite and connect.
You don't have time to do anything but sit online and stream, bro. I fucking work and I get out in the world and I do shit. I don't get along to get along ever. I don't ever do that. I fucking call shit out when I see it.
All right, Smith. I triggered you. You can chill
No,
out.
you didn't trigger me. Don't be a bitch.
You
don't
can
push
chill
your narrative
out.
and be a bitch, Jack.
You can leave now, Smith. Okay, you want to take over and present your narrative. Well, what you overlooked, dude, was just what I said. I'm calling you out, Smith. You're running around like many Americans today. I got a job to do. I'm so proud of me. I work 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week, and I'm slaving away to provide. And then you claim to know what's going on in the world. You just said the solution is for people to connect and unite and do something about it. And yeah, ice grills. This is what's crazy. Smith's right here in my town. I have literally pointed out, brothers and sisters, hey, there's something unusual going on in my life. I'd like to believe it's God, but since it's only my opinion, I'm not real comfortable saying that. So I've been pointing out that I've been rejected and excommunicated from my hometown. I'm literally online trying to find and build community from strangers. It's surprising me how difficult that has been for me, particularly after all of my efforts and what I've said. So, Smith.
You didn't trigger me, by the way, though, but pushing your narrative and throwing me backstage, it looks weak. No, you didn't trigger me.
Hey, how do you think it looks?
But I also stand up to these.
How do you think it looks when I sit here and allow you to continue over speaking me, you or others? I backstage people for just that.
Then you look weak. I'm not over talking you like you just did right there. Go
Tell
ahead.
you what.
I'll leave and you can keep your LARP up while you fake lose your fake house, fake Agent Talcott. Peace out.
What do you think of that, Jesse?
I'm not sure what to think. It's both sides obviously are triggering each other, and so that's not a
Oh, so
healthy,
it's
communication.
completely equitable in both of us, though, huh? Both
Did I say
sides.
completely equitable?
Well, I'm trying to understand why you're focusing blame onto me. I mean, I feel that I've been very polite with Smith.
When you went to him and it's like you're doing nothing, you're just too busy to your job, like that was at a point where you were at a trigger. Instead of trying to be at a healthy communication with them, you already said something to poke him, and then he triggered him. So how do you expect to have a communication when you've already poked someone to start with? This is what I said, it's both sides. It
Right.
doesn't just happen like that all the
You're
time
right.
where it's just one side to it.
You're right. So okay, now that you've given the excuse, I'd prefer to actually, I would love, the reason I came to you, Jesse, actually, this blows my mind. I've come to you so many times, trying to get you to see my side, but you're so quick to defend others and to just overlook what I am doing. And I see that, right? You come here not to support my stream, Jesse, but just to chill out and kill some time while you get some tasks done. I appreciate your generosity towards me. Preferably, I'd love to know someone is on my side. And frankly, what I have felt offered to me by Smith has been completely unhealthy, unwarranted, and unhelpful. So people are so fascinating. I truly look forward, brothers and sisters, I look forward to the future when people choose to find clarity, when they choose to actually understand what is real, what is really going on, what did I stumble into, what actually is happening here. Because, brothers and sisters, I have found the courage to dream. I have found the courage to believe in myself, not just myself, but to believe in God that moves us all, to believe that we can make a difference in this world beyond just talking about it every day. You know, actually, lots of thoughts are coming up right now, and it is Monday. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up early enough so I have the options. I may or may not go to the local city government, local city council. I don't know. I encourage you, whoever you are, wherever you are, recognize this time, this life you are living. This is our opportunity to do something, to really make a difference in the world. And it doesn't have to be grand scale. If you make a difference in the life of anyone, pay attention to who comes into your life. Pay attention for opportunities to be of service, to help resolve, to help bring peace, to help bring support, bring solutions. We don't, we, what I've noticed within us, I truly believe, is the expression of God's love, God's will, God's good. It is there, waiting to be offered and shared. But when we don't pay attention, when we're just caught up in our mind and looping on things we think we know, we miss out on what life brings forth. And brothers and sisters, the point of today, find the courage to dream for you. Dream. Believe in yourself. Believe there is a purpose for you and find it. Create it. And as you start taking actions to grow in you, to improve you, you start giving yourself more attention, more care, more love. As you start to grow in that, your dreams will grow. And as you grow and I grow and we grow, guess what? The amount of evil in the world will not grow. It'll start diminishing because we will overcome the evil. We will overtake the separations, the oppression, the divisions, the wars. We will When we unite, brothers and sisters, when we unite together, we will overcome the divisions of position and wealth, this nonsense, arbitrary standards that people have been dying to defend and promote. I don't know. Brothers and sisters, one more time, thank you again, sincerely. I do love you all, and stay tuned, stay subscribed, maybe invite others to join this adventure. We'll see where tomorrow brings. Till next time, peace for everyone. Choose love and live without fear. Thank you again, and God bless us all.